Hello and welcome to another class. 大家好，我是lululaoshi. I am a corporate English teacher, and if you work in the professional world, I think I could be a very suitable one-on-one private tutor for you. So let's begin. Today we are at C4, Risk and Urgency Assessment. And this is a part of category C, which is timeline pressure. It is the final lesson of category C. The core skill is we're going to question urgency professionally instead of resisting. So have you ever had an experience where your boss, your manager, someone tells you this is due tomorrow, it's really important, we need this, or we need this now? But is it really that important? Is it that urgent? By the way, this lesson is a part of the 16 lesson course that I created. We have 4 categories and 4 lessons per category. So here I have something on the board. This is called the Eisenhower matrix. Eisenhower matrix. President Eisenhower was a very, very busy president, and he had so many things on his plate. So he managed to do so much, whether it's domestic affairs as well as foreign policies. And this kind of stems from that time where, some things are important, some things are urgent. And if it's important and urgent, do it now. If it's important but not urgent, schedule a time to do it. If it is not important and not urgent, delegate, give it to someone else to do it, or just postpone it. And because here's the things, a lot of people postpone here and then do here, and you feel like it's like a false pretense of urgency, a false pretense of accomplishment, but you're not even getting the core of it done. And then finally, if it's low importance and low urgency, goodbye, just get rid of it. You don't need it. Just like lose those small things, like focus on the big wins. And today's lesson is all about that, and especially how to explain to a higher up when they are demanding and asking for something right away. So let's begin. So usually I start with a little warm-up to ask my students something like, tell me about what urgent means to you, and tell me what important means to you. So give that a couple minutes and think about that. And then I would ask the student, give me a specific example of something that was urgent to you. Give me something specific, a specific request that was important but was not actually urgent. And I would give my student a couple of minutes to explain. And then I, as a teacher, would listen, correct, and then repeat. So if you have answers to this, write it in the comments below. Or you can send me an email. I love receiving emails from my students. Okay, let's go to the next step. So now I think I talk about this a lot. In the previous class, I talked about the importance of understanding vocabulary, because when you understand vocabulary, you understand the foundation of the lesson. So urgency, risk, and impact. I would ask my student to please explain to me what's the difference between these three and give an example of each. So for instance, urgency means how quickly you can do something. And usually my student has an answer around it, but it's not quite there. So I would push them to go for timeliness. What distincts urgency from importance is timeliness. Risk. So what does risk mean? Usually, again, my student would explain a lot, and I would guide them to keep it simple. So risk simply means what could go wrong. What could go wrong? So for example, if we rush, the risk is making mistakes. And then impact. What does impact mean? If you said result or consequences? You are correct. Okay, now we're going to go into some of the core language. So instead of saying, I can't do it, when you get a lot of pressure, I can't, from your higher up, you might want to say, I can't do it, it's too much. That sounds like you're complaining. You know, it's valid for you to think it's too much. To communicate in a more senior way, you can ask questions instead. And I'll give you 3 things to say that is much more suitable and kind of answers my students' initial question of how to suggest something without seeming like I'm absolutely right. So here are 3 sentences. Let's say them together, please. I will say, and then you repeat. Number 1, can we clarify the level of urgency? Can we clarify the level of urgency? This is super. You're not denying that it's not urgent. You're just simply asking, how urgent is it really? Can we clarify? It sounds very neutral, very professional. Next, what's the risk if we delay by 1 week? What's the risk if you delay just by 1 week? This opens the possibility of handing in a little bit behind their idea of the perfect timeline. And this opens for exploration of the topic. And then finally, is it time sensitive or just high priority? Okay, so my student had a difficulty time understanding this because to him, if it was time sensitive, then it's important. It's high priority. But so I gave the example of what if you have some free concert tickets. You have to fill out this form, but you don't even like this artist. You don't even like the person who's doing the concert. So is it high priority or is it just time sensitive? Exactly. So now we're going to do some controlled practice. In the controlled practice, we're just going to keep it simple and you're going to choose one of these sentences to respond. So I'm going to take off my teacher hat. I'll put on my manager hat. It's a question. And scenario 1, the manager says, we need this ASAP. By the way, my student, I remember asking me, he was like, what's ASAP? ASAP is as soon as possible. And when you're using in a conversational way, you say ASAP. ASAP. So which one of these would you say? My best guess is this one. Can we clarify the level of urgency? Okay, let's try another one. Let's say the manager gives you 7 tasks, way too many urgent tasks. Which one do you say? You ask the sensitivity, time sensitivity, or the high priority of each task. Okay, good. Now let's go a little bit deeper. So what happens if someone says something is urgent? For instance, what's the real reason? What other reasons can it be besides actually being urgent? So for 1, time sensitivity. For 2, the pressure. And then maybe poor planning. Maybe they had 2 weeks, but they didn't start until 3 days before. So now this task becomes urgent, but it was never urgent from the first place. It was never an urgent task. But the time compression, which I talked about in the last class, made it urgent. And then there's another thing called emotional urgency. Be aware of emotional urgency because when there's an emotional urgency, you might feel like you need to do it. You might feel a visceral reaction to do it. But keep that in mind. Emotions are not facts. So your job is not to reject urgency. Your job is to understand and respond clearly. I'm going to put the sentence on the board. I think it's beautiful. Okay, good. Now let's practice some scenarios. So again, I'm the manager. And this time I want you to do the stacking. So pick 1 or 2 of these and add a couple of details. So for example, the manager hat says, we need this by tomorrow. What do you say? Which 2 of these can you pick? Can we clarify the level of urgency? I think that's always a good starter. Good, very good. And then you can ask even, what's the impact if we deliver 1 week late? Instead of what's the risk, you can say what's the impact if we deliver 1 week late? Excellent. Very good. So, question. If you are the manager, so role reversal, if you are the manager and you're telling the employee you want something immediately, do you think you as the manager would receive better if the employee says, why? Or if the employee says, can you clarify the urgency? Think from that perspective too. So now let's do some role play. So I'm the manager and I'll say, this is important. This is urgent and important. We need it today. And practice responding using some of this. I'll give you a couple seconds. Good. Keep it in these three. Let's do another one. Can we clarify the level of urgency? So role reversal. What kind of question would the manager give for you to say that? Good. Something with pressure, something like, I need this now, right? Okay, good. So now, at last, we're going to play a little game. So for the game, there are 3 options: real deadline, pressure, emotion, and then unclear, ask first. I'm going to give you one each, and you're going to tell me which one is most suitable. So number 1, the client meeting. Okay, here we go. You can see it here too, right? Okay, great. Let's see. Okay. It's hard to open both. Okay, no problem. I will just speak it out loud. Let me see. Yeah, no problem. I'll just speak it out loud. So the client meeting is tomorrow. We need this now. Which one? It's the emotion. Second, this is urgent. Which one is it? It's unclear how urgent, so ask first. And finally, can you get this to me soon? Unclear, ask first. Excellent. So that's a wrap for today's lesson on risk and urgency assessment. And I hope you learned a little bit more on how to handle urgency professionally. Again, you are not rejecting urgency, right? You are just understanding it better and responding more clearly. Thank you for joining me for another lesson, and I'll see you in the next video for category D. Bye.